Hey, I'm Sarah Weber. I am a board member of the HDSA Southern Idaho affiliate. And in this video, I'm going to teach you a mindset exercise for HD caregivers. I am a certified life coach, and I've developed this mindset tool to help people recognize how their thoughts and emotions are creating behaviors and how this is kind of patterned into their system. I kind of help them break it down, and then we decide whether or not they're good with the pattern or they want to create something new. And so that's what we're going to utilize in this video today. And I call it web. And the reason I call it web is because our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, they get kind of patterned and webbed together within this biological machine, this thing we live in. And this is great for so many things in our life because these patterns, these webs produce efficiency. But sometimes webs that we put in place long ago, a lot of these things even come from childhood, they aren't creating behavior that is working well for us. Maybe at some point in our life they did, but we've reached a point where we see that things could be better if we could change them. And so that's really what I help people recognize. And that's what we're going to use web to do today. I'm going to allow you to peek into my mind and into a couple webs I will share with you from my own experience. But so a quick explanation: words, emotions, behaviors. Words are thoughts. Now, if you think of thoughts are kind of magical, right? That we have energy rush through neurons in our brain, and they then manifest images in our mind, and then we can explain those images through language. That's how I communicate with my clients. That's how I'm communicating with you right now, right? You understand this. I'm able to tell you what's happening up in here through these words that I'm speaking to you. And we can do this with ourselves by asking ourselves good questions and journaling. We can write out what those thoughts are in our mind and start to understand, okay, so this is what my brain thinks about XYZ. And then what emotion does it trigger? Now, emotions are simply chemicals. They're chemicals released into your body, but the reason that your body does this is because your nervous system doesn't speak language. It doesn't speak words. There's a universal language that all of us humans and even animals speak, and that is emotion, these chemicals that connect with our nervous system to tell our nervous system how to behave, what to do. Behavior is just a group of actions. And so when you start to recognize these three simple steps, what you're thinking, you can translate that through words to yourself, the emotions that those words trigger, and then the behavior it causes, you can start to break down and understand the pattern that's happening. And then you can make an educated and deliberate, enlightened choice as to whether you want to keep that or you maybe want to try and change it. So let's get into an actual example so I can show you how this works. Now, I live at risk for HD. My mom has Huntington's disease, and a while back, I was having a problem with my mom eating sugar. Now, I'm also a certified health coach. So, I learned all the things and all about nutrition and blood sugar. Well, here's the thing about brains, and especially brains under duress. Sugar is the fastest energy we can get. That's why we crave it, we love it, we can get addicted to it. And so here I knew my mom has HD. I know that sugar, we've figured out as humans that sugar can be pretty harmful if we eat it in excess. But my mama, she loves her sweets. And so it would bother me, it would really bother me. And let me show you the web that I figured out for myself in this. So the words that I was thinking. If I were to journal and I would ask, well, what's bothering me about this? Why does it bother me that my mom's eating sugar? Lots of sentences may come out, but one I really focused in on is it's going to hurt her and make our job harder. Our job being me and my brother, her caretakers. So there's the sentence, there's the word. That's what my brain is offering me. Here's what you should think about this. Okay. And when I think this thought, these words, I feel scared and I feel judgmental. And then I ask myself, well, okay, when you feel scared and judgmental, how do you act? How do you behave? Well, I judge my mom because I'm feeling judgmental. I get on her case. I berate her eating habits. And maybe I'm not doing this in a really mean, bullying way, but still, I know that I was doing it. I try to make her feel scared and perhaps shamed about eating sugar in an attempt, thinking that it's going to be helpful, thinking that, if I can just get her to stop eating so much sugar, it's going to be much better in the long run. So, it's not necessarily that this was coming from an unloving place, but it was really growing up out of fear and judgment. And so when I started to really think about it, and I'll say that Ann Spencer, she is the genetic counselor and she's kind of the de facto leader of our affiliate. I remember her once talking about, if someone's craving a certain food, that, the Huntington's mind, is under a lot of stress and has a lot to think about, and if they just want some chocolate, maybe they should just have some chocolate. It was very kind of like, maybe this isn't worth holding on to so tightly. And that really stuck with me. So I decided to try and create another web. So I know this happens, right? My brain just automatically creates these words, and this is what's going to result from it. But if I want to get intentional, if I want to get deliberate about it, here's what I came up with. And I started backwards. So to utilize web, it's great to fill it out, going W-E-B at first, but now we're going to flip it. Because I wanted then to think about, okay, well, how do I want to behave? If I don't want to be judgmental of my mom and I don't want to berate her eating habits and scare or shame her for it, then how do I want to be? How do I want to act? And what I came up with is that I want to show her unconditional love. I want to support her. I want to allow her to be who she is. And I want to lovingly offer my knowledge. It's not that I want to just condone and say, eat all the sugar in the world, Mom, drink all the Coke and eat all the chocolate, right? I mean, because I know as a health coach that there are better ways. There's just better, healthier ways for her to be. But I also want to be connected to my mom. And that judgment that was happening before was very disconnecting. It was very disconnecting for me to be judging her like I was. So to get into these behaviors, to act this way, then the next step is to think about, well, okay, if emotion is that translator, right? If it tells my body how to act, what emotions do I have to feel to start behaving this way? And the emotions I came up with are loving, accepting, and supportive. And then next are the words. And sometimes this can be the tricky part. It can be kind of tricky to find the words that create the emotions you want. But this is a creative process. You just kind of have to let it free flow, to let your brain get creative, to get out of that, that conditioned program space where that other web was coming from, and get up into its creative faculties and come up with some different words. And here's what I came up with. I am her ally in this battle with HD. And when I think this thought, when I think these words, it makes me feel so much more accepting, so much more compassionate about what my mom is going through and who I want to be in her life on her journey. And it's a very different dynamic and a very different feeling than that other space where I was scared and judgmental. Now, this is not to say that I still don't have this knowledge from my health coaching certification, right? And it's not to say that I still don't think she should maybe bring her sugar consumption down. But berating her, trying to shame her, was doing neither of us any good. I want to lovingly offer the knowledge I have, but leave it at that. And allow her to be her person, because she is, and she's going to do what she's going to do. Right? And if you have a loved one in your life, if you're a caregiver and you know someone with HD and you take care of them, you know that they're going to do what they're going to do, right? And so can you get into a compassionate, accepting space for them, or do you want to? If you don't want to, you don't have to. You're a human with agency. We all are, right? We get to think and feel and behave as we want to. But it's the consequences that come after the fact that we can really start to mull over and decide, do I like those consequences, those results that my thinking and emotional state are creating, or do I want something different? All right, so that is web. Now, I'm going to put a link in the comments with this video that will direct you to a PDF of a web worksheet. And in that worksheet, I actually give an example of a few webs utilizing the circumstance that I live at risk for Huntington's disease. Sorry, I was trying to remember exactly which ones were in there, but I use them for myself. And so if you are someone that lives at risk, or even someone with Huntington's disease, it can show you how to use web on your own as well. A couple just final thoughts. Something I would recommend just for mindset, something that's going to help you exercise your mind to be able to kind of pivot your mindset more quickly in your life. Meditation. Meditation is one of my key recommendations, simply because it helps you observe your thoughts. And that's what it takes in order to change your mindset, to change the dynamics of your mind. I love the Headspace app, and so it is what I would recommend. And the meditations, they're short ones. They're very logical, if you will, for meditation, and very forgiving. So I would highly recommend Headspace. Also, just mindfulness in general. Getting aware, getting out of that thinking monkey mind that we all get lost in regularly, and bringing yourself into present awareness. A couple quick ways to do this. Putting the dishes away quietly. I know that sounds weird, but try it. The next time you're putting dishes away from the dish rack or from the dishwasher, be as quiet as you can. It takes a lot of mental focus in the here and now, in the present, to do that. Examine something up close. Go outside and look at a leaf on a tree, or even your hand. Look up close at it. When you start to examine something really close up, it just really, like zoom, your focus just comes right into play, and you're really present in the moment. Create some art. That's another great way to stay really present and engaged. And the reason that mindfulness is so helpful is when you train your focus to be in the moment, you start to get really observant. And observing your thoughts is part of what helps you shift mindset. Finally, if you have any questions for me, if you want to try this out, if you're like, oh, this web thing sounds kind of cool, but I'm still not quite sure how it works, feel free to email me. You can certainly reach out to me. I would be happy to answer any questions that you have. It's Sarah with an H at Brain Cleanup Coach. That's my coaching business name, .com. And you can also reach out to Brianne. She published a video last week that you will find on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. And she is our social worker for the Southern Idaho affiliate. And she can also get you in touch with me. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be bringing you another video next week. Bye.